Everything's a bit brighter, everything's a bit clearer, everything is easier to deal with when I'm with you. I don't need pills or plastic, it's all fantastic when you turn on the light in my mind. When you turn on the light, turn on the light. When you turn on the light, when you turn on the light, my mind.
Hello, my name is George Kappas, and I'm the director of the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, or HMI, in Tarzana, California, America's first nationally accredited college of hypnotherapy. Founded as a non-profit organization in 1968 by my father and uncle, Drs. John and Alex Kappas, HMI has been our family's mission and purpose for more than 45 years. I did my first hypnosis demonstration here when I was only 9 years old. Students from all over the world come to HMI to receive professional training and clinical internship. If you tuned in today hoping to see people cluck like chickens, then you've got the wrong show. But stay tuned, and we'll show you how real people are using hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind to accomplish their goals and achieve their dreams. This is Hypnotized.
The pain that I'm experiencing is so debilitating that it's ruining my life. I can't play golf. I can't work properly because I need to drive to get to customers to make sales calls. It's embarrassing for me to have to walk with a cane or a walker.
The first time I become aware of the pain that I'm having is while I'm sleeping. It literally wakes me up around probably 3 in the morning, and I start tossing and turning and trying to look for a place to get comfortable. The pain is evident all day long with every movement. It's nonstop. It's like a stabbing spasm pain that won't go away.
In this episode of Hypnotized, we're going to explore pain. Pain is an important thing. It tells us when we might need medical attention. But what happens when the need for medical attention has been addressed and the pain continues? I'm talking about chronic pain. Pain that lasts for weeks, months, or even years. Pain that's so acute it diminishes a person's quality of life, sometimes debilitating them completely. All too often, the solution is drugs. Hey, most of us have needed pain medication at one time or another. It's a great invention, but only for the short term. As a long-term solution, it sucks. Many times the long-term side effects are just as debilitating as the pain itself, sometimes even worse. Did you know that deaths from an overdose of medically prescribed pain medication now exceeds deaths from an overdose of heroin, cocaine, and alcohol combined? Did you know that for the first time ever, annual deaths from an overdose of medically prescribed pain medication outnumber deaths from car accidents? These are not good statistics. But what if there was another solution? A solution that was organic, natural, and right inside our own minds. We call it your subconscious mind, and it controls your pain, your emotions, and most importantly, your emotional reactions to your pain. On this episode of Hypnotized, we're going to meet some folks who are struggling with chronic pain and demonstrate for our students how hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind might be a better solution for chronic pain. I've asked Rose to get on the phone and find me a couple good pain management clients, people that are really struggling, that aren't sure what to do, and maybe hypnosis can offer them the relief they're looking for. For the therapist, I'm going to use instructor John Melton. He's been with us a dozen years, he specializes in pain management, and he's just one of the best in the business.
Good evening. Welcome. Tonight we're starting a 6-session case history series, and we're going to be focusing on pain management. And our first client tonight, his name is Jeff.
This is Jeff.
Hi Jeff, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Please come up here if you will, have a seat.
I opened the door and thought, what am I doing here? There's 30 people that are going to be looking at me. I'm going to be on a stage, and this is something I'm not used to.
So we'd like to start tonight by having you give us a little background on the condition that we're going to help you with tonight.
Okay, in 2011 I had a lower back disc problem that was pushing against the sciatic nerve, and it got to the point where I just couldn't walk.
We have our second client tonight coming in, and her name is Carol.
When I walked into the HMI classroom, I was surprised at the number of students. There were a lot of students, and the stage where the instructor's desk was, it was a little bit like going on the Johnny Carson show.
We'd like to start tonight by just having you talk a little bit about why you're here and what it is you'd like to achieve.
Okay. I'm here because I have a chronic pain issue. I've had a couple of surgeries, and as you know, surgery is very hard on your body, and the residual effect of any surgery can have a side effect that you don't even see coming. It's, you know, it's the last thing you think about when you have a surgery.
Over a period of time, can you describe how you became aware of the discomfort? And
Yeah, I had had sciatic nerve pain in the past. So I went in for surgery and it worked. And then it was either late 2012 or early 2013. I had a slip and fall in Palm Springs.
I've had breast cancer and a double mastectomy as a result of that. That was pretty traumatic.
of course it would be.
Yeah, so my body took a little bit of a beating there. So that was the first point where my body started holding tension, particularly in my back and shoulder area. And then last year I had thyroid cancer. So again, another fun joyride. I'm holding so much tension in my shoulder area and in my shoulder blades. And the other thing that's happened to me is I seem to forget how to breathe. It's like I've lost, I can't breathe naturally anymore. When I started talking about why I was there and the journey I've been on with this chronic pain, it was interesting because I guess I had never really said it out loud in any other situation. And it got me to thinking about how long I've been dragging this pain around and wondering why it's taken me so long to get here.
Thinking back to around when you literally were not able to walk anymore, think back to that time and try to remember what was going on, maybe around your work or in other areas of your life.
Work had changed. I sell products, and the company was going into more traditional lines of automotive parts rather than accessories. So there's a lot of what they call changeovers, where you lift a product off a shelf, you take it out of a box and you put it in your box.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that was the beginning of the problem.
And why did that affect you in that way?
Because I'm not a real physically fit person.
So you were physically having to move this material, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
The economy had taken a dump. I was cut back very seriously, but still grateful to have a job. But from 2011, it has cost me out of my pocket to work for this company.
It literally cost you money.
Yes.
And why is it important to do that? Is this your company?
It was. I sold it to the people that I'm working for.
What was going on in your life coming up to 1999? Were there things going on emotionally in your life, or were there exceptional stressors or things of that nature?
You could say that. It just so happens that right before I got diagnosed with breast cancer, my apartment building caught on fire.
Wow.
You know, there was kind of a lot going on.
And is it your belief that maybe some of that stress has become trapped in there?
I have no idea, but that's the case. Let's get rid of it.
To me, hypnotherapy is a kind of a relearning tool. And we're going to change the things that are working against you here so that you are working at your maximum potential to be healthy, mind, body, and emotion. Okay?
Good deal.
Okay. And then we're going to do a little test here. It's not a test you can pass or fail. It's just going to teach me a little bit about you, and it's going to start to connect you into focusing internally and begin the process of hypnotizing you. Remember, you're going to be aware the whole time. You're just going to, at a certain point, have your eyes closed and follow what I'm going to say to you, okay? So let's have you look down at your hand on the table here. I'd just like you to get an image of your hand. Hold that image of your hand in your mind. Focus on the feeling of your breath and your breathing. Just notice it. And notice the way the breath begins to change. And when you become aware of the way it's changed, you'll nod your head. Right? And there's this little movement of your eyes and your eyelids, a little flutter. It's likely you can feel that if you focus on it. And nod your head if you can. And there may be this tendency to want to swallow, but that's very normal and natural. I'd like you to use your imagination and imagine the hand becoming lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter now. And in fact, as that hand continues to become lighter and lighter, something else very interesting is going to happen, Jeff. And that it's going to stop feeling like your hand. It's more of a sense of becoming kind of numb. And that's the kind of feeling that you start to feel in that left hand. It's more and more numb. And in fact, I'm going to tap on your hand and notice how numb it's feeling as I tap on it. Notice, I'm just going to pinch your hand here now. Just notice, I'm very hard, very hard, very, very hard now. Now that was just the pressure, wasn't it? That's all you felt. Now I'm going to guide your hand back down, and when it touches the table, we begin to enter this hypnotic sleep. Now we're untying those balloons, and you watch as we let them go. Now watch those colored balloons flying up into the air, and the hand just drops down. Down, 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 relax, loose, loose. Now this deep sleep. Coming back, and now deep sleep. Now each time I suggest deep sleep for the purpose of hypnosis, with your permission, you allow yourself to enter quickly, calmly, and deeply to this depth or deeper. Now you talked about a beautiful place that we both know up in Pebble Beach. And that's one of the most beautiful bays and beautiful coastlines probably in the world.
He's zeroing in on Pebble Beach because that's a pleasurable thing for me.
I wonder if you can imagine a beautiful day in August there where the temperature is just right. If you can imagine yourself there sitting in a very comfortable, maybe a chaise lounge. You're giving yourself permission to find what you've been carrying and give yourself permission to begin to let it go.
When the instructor was talking to me about releasing the pain and giving myself permission to let go of what was causing this chronic pain, I felt that a sense of relief and a sense of hope that this was going to resolve the issue.
Perhaps you'll find yourself sleeping more deeply, more restfully. And don't be surprised if you find that your mind and your body and emotion working together create some dreams that free you from negative feelings, physically and emotionally. Now in a few moments, I'm going to awaken you. Eyes open now. Wide awake, coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes are open and wide awake now. Just give yourself a moment.
As John's counting me out of hypnosis, I'm realizing that I'm having difficulty opening my eyes, and I'm feeling really good and relaxed.
Allow this deep part of your mind to vent it, to release it, to move it out and create space. Awakening to a positive, calm, non-suggestible state. More comfortable and at ease.
Having just come out of hypnosis, the feeling is that I'm completely in control. I don't feel like I've been in a fog, and it's painless. And I'm engaged again with the room, with the instructor, and it was easy.
When I got home, my wife was very anxious and wanting to talk about my experience. I spent the next 20 minutes talking to her about it and how relaxed I was feeling. I decided I was that relaxed I was going to bed, so I did. The unusual thing that happened was I slept through the night, and I normally don't.
Since the hypnotherapy session, I'm sleeping better and sleeping longer through the night. My pain is so much diminished that I'm in shock, and I keep thinking that it's going to come back, and it hasn't. Every day it seems to be getting further and further in the distance instead of clawing at my back the way it has been for all these years. So that's a pretty big thing for me.
Hi, John. I wanted to check in with you. We've met with both subjects a few days after the session, hear what they had to say, and they both surprisingly reported some good progress.
I thought we created good rapport. Jeff, when he revealed to us this idea of literally paying to go to work and his relationship with work, having sold his business and then sticking with it through the bad time, and now actually literally paying money to go to work every day. There's obviously some conflict there, and probably some repressed emotion.
So, the concept that this pain could be supported by repressed rage, and that the rage is just unacceptable to him because he's such a nice guy.
Right.
Do you feel he's pretty rageful
Very
under
likely it's there. We can't say 100%, but I think there's. I
would
would find it
right?
I'd find it very difficult to believe there's just some anger in there about this, and I think there's also fear actually.
Sure. I think that he lost his business, got hired. The business is changing. I thought it was interesting how he latched on to the lifting of the boxes as the physical reason why, and ignored all the emotional aspect. Now, what about Carol?
Carol, I think I felt from the very beginning there's a lot of emotion repressed there, and it fits the syndrome. I mean, she's got the knot in her back that is maintaining itself, and even the way she talked about it, I think she used the words like something like this thing that lives in there. So she's holding something there. It's the tension, the pressure of going through these terrible experiences. She had
medical experiences.
She had breast cancer.
Right.
She lost her home, and she had thyroid cancer.
Right.
And so I think she probably hasn't processed it. There may be some loss there as well, but I felt very strongly there was anger there.
We talked about Dr. Sarno's book and the oxygen deprivation theory, but yet she described being unable to breathe, and I thought it was almost like an exaggerated description of this oxygen deprivation caused by the emotions.
Right, and his theory there is that as the body holds on to these emotions, it creates tension in the body. The tension restricts blood flow, and the restriction of blood flow reduces oxygen into these different parts of the body.
And that's what causes the pain. So the
right.
pain's very real.
Yes.
It's just created by the emotions.
They just don't know that's the underlying cause. You strike me as someone who's the furthest thing from an angry person in your life, and but we all get angry. I'm a pretty calm person too, and I don't like to be angry, but you push someone enough, and you have gone through a considerable amount of trauma in a relatively short period of time. So for you to feel some anger would not be unreasonable, would it?
No.
So as I talk about that, does it feel like that could be at least part of what you're holding there?
I wouldn't rule it out.
I don't know if you've heard of the work of Dr. John Sarno. Has he been mentioned to you before?
No.
He's a doctor at New York University Hospital, I believe. He's from New York. And his theory, is that when we are under emotional stress and pressure, it causes tension in the body. And tension and stress builds. And actually, the constriction of the muscles can constrict blood flow in the body. And he believes that a lot of the actual discomfort we're experiencing is because of reduction in actually blood flow. It's real, the discomfort's real. It's not one of these things where it's all in your head kind of a thing. But the emotion is causing a physiologic change in the body that results in a pain. Thinking about the things you've been dealing with in your life as this has gone on, what's the first emotion that comes into your mind that might be in there?
Fear is my biggest problem.
Okay. And when you think about what you've gone through and this condition, do you feel there's some anger there?
Yes, a fair amount of anger, actually.
To me, it was surprising how rapid it shifted from the moving boxes to emotional, aspect, and how they really didn't reject that idea, they took it in.
And there's a certain moment that it just feels comfortable to allow your eyes to close. Just a choice that in a moment you make. As you feel the breath, allow the calming, this deep peace. This is about self-love. And what you begin to find is balance and flow and freedom and life.
He gets right to the heart of the matter. I hadn't thought of love healing all wounds. I felt like, God, that was so simple. Why hadn't I thought of that? But of course, your mind doesn't go there naturally. That's not something that you would naturally think of for yourself when you're trying to heal yourself. You think of it oftentimes relating to others. So that struck me as a really useful thing to keep repeating to myself.
To see so much of an improvement after just 1 week in both Carol and Jeff is incredibly exciting as a future hypnotherapist, because it shows me that the possibilities for me to help other people are absolutely endless.
So what I'd like you to do is look up towards the ceiling. Just find any spot to focus your eyes on. Anything you choose is fine. To allow me to take you through a process in which ultimately it's about creating calm, comfort, control, and just start repeating those words in your own mind, in your own voice. Calm, comfort, control. At a certain point, with one of those exhales of breath, right after you say the word control, you'll find your eyes want to close. When you feel that, you'll just allow that to happen. Calm, comfort, control. That's right. Now it's interesting, as you close your eyes, our attention naturally shifts more inside ourselves. Find the fear and let's put it in this arm. Now I want you to take a deep breath through the nose, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now we're going to release it and let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go. Now we're going deeper. Where's your comfort level right now?
0.
0. Good. Nice to feel, isn't it?
Oh, very nice. It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years since you felt 0, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a registered nurse and I deal with people with pain daily. And never do they get to a 0, even on high-level narcotics. So that was very impressive to me.
When John asked me what my pain level was, I gave him a number 4 to start. By the end of the session, I was at 0. I got in the car, drove home, and my wife was asking questions again. And I spoke with her for a half hour, and during that half hour I actually got emotional because it had been so long since I had 0 for pain.
All right.
Okay.
So, week 3.
Week 3 it is.
So I did have a chance to look over the highlights of week 2.
Okay.
You should be pretty pleased.
I think so.
You started being a little more direct with them about the emotional components of their pain.
Right.
How do you think they took that?
I feel like we've got good rapport, and this is the type of thing that takes a little time. With both of these people, instead of going after this as a symptomatic kind of thing with glove anesthesia or something like that to try to knock down the symptom, we're looking at this from a causational basis.
Right.
And going for cause takes a little more time often, but ultimately you can resolve an issue.
Right, and I think it brings up a good point. If this is 90% emotionally based,
Right.
And you don't address that,
Right.
it's just a matter of time.
Exactly, and usually those symptomatic, whatever you use symptomatically will stop working.
Right.
Because really it just becomes another way for them to distract themselves from really what the core issue is.
Ultimately, you're not changing that erroneous belief
Right.
that something's broken. I feel this because I'm broken.
Right.
And that is not an accurate belief.
Well, when you say broken, to be accurate, they think they're physically broken,
Right.
and not understanding they're emotionally broken. Just to make that clear,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. They're focusing
Yeah.
on the physical part
Right.
that this is causing the pain when in fact this is not causing the pain.
What's likely causing the pain is repression of emotion, and then the distraction that causes. And they focus on that instead of the actual issue itself.
Right. Well, here's a bigger issue too. Is I think that we have a societal belief system in medical doctors, which I have. Right. When if I needed surgery, I want a doctor to do the surgery.
Right.
But this person, this authority figure who they have been told to believe in, told them that it is physical.
Right.
And so now someone who's not maybe
Right.
as high on the ladder of authority figures in their
Right.
mind saying, no, it's not. And that's a real conflict from a belief that they've had for a very, very long time.
Right.
They've been given misinformation.
Right. So hopefully we can change that belief, and in doing so, get them to change their behavior, and in their behavior and their beliefs, they ultimately can resolve. So as always, we start by just getting a little report on how we're doing and what you've been experiencing. So in your own words.
The pain is definitely diminishing. I still have a little stiffness, but it's nothing as aggravating as it was when I first came to see you.
Mm-hmm. What comes to mind when I ask you about your dreams?
I've started remembering my dreams. I know I've been dreaming, but I haven't remembered them up until this week. And one of the dreams that I remember vividly was being stuck down in a dirt hole in the ground. And while I was down there with someone else who I can't name, a big concrete pipe fell on top of the hole, covering it. And although it didn't hurt us, and it just landed squarely across the hole, and we were able to scramble out of the hole and get out from under the pipe, my one thought when I was relaying the story was, I wasn't hurt.
So think about how you describe this.
Yeah, solid. Yeah.
Concrete pipe.
Yeah.
Stuck in a hole.
Right.
Have to crawl out of it.
I feel like a lot of her pain may come from her anger at her body because it keeps letting her down. And she's holding on to a lot of anger that these things keep happening to her, especially, with having cancer twice or 3 times, and then her thyroid, and then it's exhibiting itself in physical ways, her apartment burning down. And that's a lot for one person to go through.
When I say the word anger, what's the first thing that comes in your mind right now? First thing.
That knot in my shoulder.
Okay. Love heals all wounds, and now you're accepting this deeply, more completely.
One of the other things I remember was him reinforcing that it's okay for me to let the pain go, and that it was time to let it go, and to give myself permission to let the pain go.
When you're ready to release what you've moved into this arm, you'll nod your head. You don't need to hold it anymore. One more deep breath. Deep breath, hold it, hold that breath, hold it. Now I want you to release and let it go. Now release it, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Loose, completely loose. Completely loose, just let the hand drop. There you go. All right, there was something that was happening there near the end. What were you feeling?
Warm.
Yes. Yeah, there was a big flush.
Yeah, I was
Happened.
like warm.
Yes. There was a shift there, and everything shifted into flow. I mean, I wrote it down. I could see your whole body shifted. It was an amazing moment. There was like this flush, almost like all the capillaries opened up and the blood flow started coming back in. Of course, that's oxygen, and oxygen is healing. Wonderful. Interesting.
Yeah.
The first thing that I noticed about Carol was that she looked lighter to me. Her energy seemed different. It was as if Carol had taken off the mask of her pain and we could see her true self, who she really was.
And when I talk about that, what are you feeling and what are you thinking? Tell me, just be honest. You're uncomfortable with it.
I'm uncomfortable because I sold my company to this company,
Yes.
and it's kind of a sad thing.
Right. More emotional.
Yeah,
So you're caught up in this emotional turmoil.
yeah.
And as we talk about it, I said uncomfortable because I can see it in you, I understand. But your job is to try to hear and recognize, step back and see where this may be creating some of this condition. Yeah. And so at a certain point, the decisions need to be made that may be beneficial for you in terms of this. So how long do you continue to work in a situation where they're pulling this kind of stuff on you? You're not exactly the job you want. You feel locked into it because you built this business and you sold it. You feel an emotional attachment to it. Completely understandable. But you're paying to work there.
Right.
This is not normal.
I understand. Yeah, I know.
And I'm not saying you are abnormal. I'm just saying let's step out of it and just see it for what it is, you know.
John and I discussed the conflict of my work and the fact that it's costing me money to work for them. My bind is that at this point I can't put my name out into the field to let people know that I'm looking for work, because if it got back to the home office, I would be immediately terminated.
Deep sleep, now release the eyes. Now you've made a decision and a commitment to yourself. And more you're looking at your life clearly and recognizing the decisions that you make affect how you feel. To free yourself from fear and anger is to free yourself to joy and happiness. And you have to ask yourself, is that something I would like to do?
It's a sad time in my life, because if I end up getting fired or quitting, it's going to be tough saying goodbye to it.
Wide awake, calm and comfortable. Wide awake now. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah. And where are you right now on that scale?
I'm at a 0.
At a 0. You see, you proved to yourself you can do it. Very good.
Just a few days from my last session, I realized that the meditation at 5 times a day is working.
Calm, comfort, and control seem to be really great keywords for Jeff, because those seem to be some of the things that he may feel like he's lacking in his life. What I thought was really interesting was how he couldn't remember them, which indicates some resistance subconsciously.
The thing that occurred to me is that you can't really think of those words without feeling them.
All right, so last week.
Here we are.
Yay! All right, it's been a long, short.
It's good. It's been
Good.
good. Yeah. Good experience. I think they've benefited, and we have both.
Yes, yeah. So in both these cases, the pain was the subconscious expressing itself.
As a discomfort.
As a
Yeah,
discomfort,
right.
this unresolved issue, this unresolved conflict.
Right, and so the pain comes up as a means of kind of distracting away from what the primary issue is, so it comes out in a different place.
Well, good. Well, congratulations. We look forward to this last session. and really seeing how these two are doing this week and then afterwards.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great job.
Okay. Now you were going to go and see your doctor, I think, last week and have a check-in with your doctor. Is that right?
He lowered my medication and laughed about it because he has no belief in hypnosis.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I didn't either until it started to work.
Yeah. It's not uncommon.
He says, but do what you got to do.
Yeah. So, we talked a little more assertively last week about your situation with your work and kind of the bind you're in a sense, and kind of stuck there. Did you think much about that after the session? Did your mind go there, and did you ruminate upon it a bit?
Yeah, and I think tomorrow we'll tell a bigger story because I have a conference call with the two owners of the company.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the situation at work?
And I've made a decision that if it's not going to be right, then it's time to move on.
Well, that's a big decision.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was on my mind.
A little anger came up this morning, did it?
A lot of anger.
Okay.
As I'm listening to John and having the realization that anger is the root of my problem at work, I have made a decision, and I will be leaving my job, and that'll be fine.
He was able to make some tough decisions. He was able to decide what was acceptable and what wasn't acceptable in his life and regain control, which was a beautiful thing to witness because he said he felt relieved.
Have your dreams returned?
I did dream, but unfortunately I dreamed about the tornadoes that were happening in the Midwest. So,
but if a tornado was a symbol of something for you, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
chaos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But yeah, sometimes it's scary to allow the chaos to flow past us and realize that it wasn't maybe exactly what we thought it was going to be. What percentage of that tension and or discomfort do you think is now gone?
At least 70% of my discomfort is gone.
Oh, but it's great that you've achieved a very significant relief, but we're going to continue. And there's really no reason to hang on to it, is there?
Mm-mm.
Right. You're doing well, so I'm happy for you. So let's get rid of some more.
Okay.
And it's kind of a gentle unwinding as the eyes close. And a focus that turns inside. And the words you begin to hear in your mind are the simple words, I am beginning to take control. And I want you to think about the word and the feeling, anger. What you're angry about. Whatever it is, I want you to try to find that anger, and then you'll find it. And as you find it, you put it into the fist. And as you put it into the fist, it grows tighter. Because you're moving it out of whatever part of the body it's in, and you're moving it into this hand, into this fist. Now take a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. When we drop the hand, you release that fist and just let it drop now. Let it go. Deep sleep, going deeper. Those words, let go, are kind of open-ended, aren't they? What is it you're letting go of? The truth is we don't actually need to know because your subconscious mind knows. As the body relaxes, as you find yourself manifesting this shift from within, you are becoming stronger, more in control. Now the dreams will continue to be a time of mental and emotional clearing and cleansing. And regardless of whether you remember them or not, it really doesn't matter. But perhaps you will. But you're going to continue to use those three words, calm, comfort, control. Wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up now. Eyes are opening. There you go. I see the smile and the laughter. Wide awake. There you go.
When I go into hypnosis, I don't remember an awful lot that takes place. What I do remember, though, is that when I open my eyes at the end of the session, I'm in zero pain. I have no pain at all.
How's the body feel right now?
Perfect.
Perfect. That's how you want to feel. Excellent. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night.
A few days after my last session with John, I received a text message and the company fired me. And I have to give credit to hypnotherapy for the way that I feel. I feel very stress-free. I feel like weights have been taken off of my shoulder. And I can truly thank hypnotherapy for that. I'm very happy today.
You know, one of the exhales, when you're ready and you've given yourself that permission, your eyes can close. And just a sense that this is a wonderful time to continue this balancing and healing and calming. We're sealing that positive self-image and that positive emotion. You begin to project it outwardly to yourself and others more and more. You remember to check in with yourself during the day, to take a few deep breaths and release the tensions, to know that you are finding the time to relax and giving yourself permission to. During the day, when you take those moments, you check in with yourself, I want you to breathe and I want you to smile. It ties all this together. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
I'm pleased to say that after 6 sessions, the level of pain is completely diminished down to it. I would say 70 to 80% of what I walked in here with, and that's amazing to me.
Well, everyone thinks of hypnosis as some state where you lose control. But in fact, as hypnotists, what we're doing is giving you more control. These 2 clients are a perfect example of that.
When I first came to hypnotherapy, my goal was to get off of pain medications. I've been taking them for years. And here it is several weeks later, and I'm almost at 0 medication.
Calm, comfort, control. So simple, yet so powerful. But it does leave us with the question, if in just 6 weeks, hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind can help Carol and Jeff overcome pain that had been debilitating them for years, what else can it do? We hope to answer that question and more in the next episode of Hypnotized.
Just take the time to let it in. In a moment you will feel it. Just let it in. Just let it in. Just let it in. Just let it in. Just breathe. Creeping up the personality exchange. And it might take a while for you to feel the change.
Many times the long-term side effects are just as debilitating as the pain itself, sometimes even worse. Did you know that deaths from an overdose of medically prescribed pain medication now exceeds deaths from an overdose of heroin, cocaine, and alcohol combined? Did you know that for the first time ever, annual deaths from an overdose of medically prescribed pain medication outnumber deaths from car accidents? These are not good statistics. But what if there was another solution? A solution that was organic, natural, and right inside our own minds. We call it your subconscious mind, and it controls your pain, your emotions, and most importantly, your emotional reactions to your pain. On this episode of Hypnotized, we're going to meet some folks who are struggling with chronic pain and demonstrate for our students how hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind might be a better solution for chronic pain. I've asked Rose to get on the phone and find me a couple good pain management clients, people that are really struggling, that aren't sure what to do, and maybe hypnosis can offer them the relief they're looking for. For the therapist, I'm going to use
Everything's a bit brighter, everything's a bit clearer, everything is easier to deal with when I'm with you. I don't need pills or plastic, it's all fantastic when you turn on the light in my mind. When you turn on the light, turn on the light. When you turn on the light, when you turn on the light, my mind.
Hello, my name is George Kappas, and I'm the director.
To make sales calls. It's embarrassing for me to have to walk with a cane or a walker.
The first time I become aware of the pain that I'm having is while I'm sleeping. It literally wakes me up around probably 3 in the morning, and I start tossing and turning and trying to look for a place to get comfortable. The pain is evident all day long with every movement. It's nonstop. It's like a stabbing spasm pain that won't go away.
In this episode of Hypnotized, we're going to explore pain. Pain is an important thing. It tells us when we might need medical attention. But what happens when the need for medical attention has been addressed and the pain continues? I'm talking about chronic pain. Pain that lasts for weeks, months, or even years. Pain that's so acute it diminishes a person's quality of life, sometimes debilitating them completely. All too often, the solution is drugs. Hey, most of us have needed pain medication at one time or another. It's a great invention, but only for the short term. As a long-term solution, it sucks. Director of the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, or HMI, in Tarzana, California, America's first nationally accredited college of hypnotherapy. Founded as a non-profit organization in 1968 by my father and uncle, Drs. John and Alex Kappas, HMI has been our family's mission and purpose for more than 45 years. I did my first hypnosis demonstration here when I was only 9 years old. Students from all over the world come to HMI to receive professional training and clinical internship. If you tuned in today hoping to see people cluck like chickens, then you've got the wrong show. But stay tuned, and we'll show you how real people are using hypnosis and the power of the subconscious mind to accomplish their goals and achieve their dreams. This is Hypnotized.
The pain that I'm experiencing is so debilitating that it's ruining my life. I can't play golf. I can't work properly because I need to drive to get to customers.
Instructor John Melton. He's been with us a dozen years. He specializes in pain management, and he's just one of the best in the business.
Good evening. Welcome. Tonight we're starting a 6-session case history series, and we're going to be focusing on pain management. And our first client tonight, his name is Jeff.
This is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Please come up here, if you will. Have a seat.
I opened the door and thought, what am I doing here? There's 30 people that are going to be looking at me. I'm going to be on a stage, and this is something I'm not used to.
So we'd like to start tonight by having you give us a little background on the condition that we're going to help you with tonight.
Okay. In 2011, I had a lower back disc problem that was pushing against the sciatic nerve, and it got to the point where I just couldn't walk.
We have our second client tonight coming in, and